Hey, I'm Jonathan with Acoustic Sounds in Salina, Kansas, and today we're going to be going over the new releases for March 24th, 2024. Last week we began shipping the 7 breakout titles from our Thelonious Monk Riverside Tenor Sessions box set, which we are down to the last 100 or so of, so if you want to get a box of that, you may want to order that sooner rather than later. The 7 titles that we began shipping last week, though, were Thelonious Monk Brilliant Corners, Thelonious in Action, At the Black Hawk, 5 by Monk by 5, Mysterioso, with John Coltrane, and Monk's Music. And all of those were mastered by Kevin Gray from the original analog master tape. We are going to begin shipping the next 2 titles from the Analog Productions Pablo Series, and those 2 titles are Duke's Big 4, and this was mastered by Kevin Gray at Coherent from the original master tape and pressed at QRP on 180 gram vinyl. And the second one is This One's for Blanton by Duke Ellington, and this one is made from parts that were cut by Doug Sachs at the mastering lab from the original master tape, and this one comes in a gatefold jacket, made at Stoughton, also pressed at QRP on 180 gram vinyl. And then the next 2 titles that are going to be shipping June 21st after that are Count Basie and his orchestra, 88 Basie Street, and this one was mastered by Kevin Gray. And the Count Basie Big Band, Farmers Market Barbecue, and this one is mastered off of the Parks by Doug Sachs and from the original analog master tape. We are about a third of the way through the Analog Productions 75th Anniversary of Atlantic Records series. We've done 20 or so of them, and the next titles that are going to be coming June 7th are Charles Mingus the Clown, and the SACD of this is yet to be determined when it will arrive, and the Yes album. And both of these titles were mastered by Kevin Gray from the original analog master tape, and the SACD of this is already out and came out with the last batch of titles that were released earlier this month. Now for a couple items up for pre-order this week, from the Blue Note Tone Poet series coming July 5th, Bird Blows on Beacon Hill, and Wayne Shorter, Odyssey of Iska. And from the Verve by Request series coming July 12th, the Oscar Peterson Trio, A Jazz Portrait of Frank Sinatra, and Dizzy Gillespie, The Ebullient Mr. Gillespie. Back in stock this week from Analog Productions, the UHQR of Asia by Steely Dan, and this is a 2LP 45 RPM set pressed on Clarity vinyl at QRP. Back in stock from Mobile Fidelity this week, the SACD of Drops of Jupiter by Train, and this is a limited to 2,000 copies. Also back in stock from Mobile Fidelity this week, Surrealistic Pillow by Jefferson Airplane, and this is mastered from the original mono 1/4-inch master tape. New this week from Mobile Fidelity, Shankar Family and Friends self-titled album, and this album was produced by George Harrison and sourced from the original master tape and is a limited edition of 3,000. Also from Mobile Fidelity, Whitney Houston self-titled, and this is pressed on 180 gram super vinyl, mastered from the original master tape, and this is limited to 4,000 copies. Additionally, we have the SACD for this title, and this one is limited to 3,000 copies. New from the Verve Acoustic Sound series this week, back-to-back, Duke Ellington and Johnny Hodges Play the Blues, and this is mastered by Bernie Grudman from the original analog master tape and pressed at 180 gram vinyl at QRP. From Sun Records in this week, a blue vinyl reissue of Jimmy Buffett Equal Strain on All Parts. When we had the standard edition of this, we couldn't seem to keep it in stock. From Modern Harmonic, Sun Ra, Excelsior Mill, a limited edition on violet vinyl, and this is the first ever Sun Ra pipe organ album, and the lacquers for this were cut by Kevin Gray from the restored Sun Ra archive master tapes. From Beat Rocket, Dawn and the Good Times, the original Northwest sound of Dawn and the Good Times on limited edition yellow vinyl. From Wildflower, Judy Collins and Ari Hest, Silver Skies Blue, a limited edition on blue vinyl, and this is the first ever vinyl pressing of this. From Gloopy Records, we have 3 Aquabat titles, the Aquabats versus the Floating Eye of Death, and this is the first ever vinyl release of this. The Return of the Aquabats, also a first-time vinyl release. and The Fury of the Aquabats. From Sub Pop, La Luz, News of the Universe, a limited edition on Orange Crush vinyl. From Mr. Bongo, Lonnie Smith, Funk Reaction. From Decca, Tom Jones, The World of Tom Jones. And the Royal Philharmonic Orchestra, playing Bond 25. From Def Jam, Rihanna, Music of the Sun, a double album on yellow vinyl. From Parlophone, we have a 50th anniversary half-speed mastered edition of Diamond Dogs by David Bowie. From BMG, Lenny Kravitz, Blue Electric Light. From the Rhino Now Playing series, The Meters. From Project M, Jerry Garcia and Merle Saunders, Heads and Tails Volume 1, a limited edition on colored vinyl. And from Hail Mary, Kate Hudson, Glorious. Before we get to our employee pick this week, I wanted to go over one thing I forgot to go over earlier. The Bluesville Acoustic Sound series is going to be coming out June 7th, along with the next two titles from the Atlantic 75 series. And those titles again are John Lee Hooker, Burning Hell, and Skip James, Today. And both of those titles are mastered by our very own Matt Luthans at the Mastering Lab. And now for this week's employee pick. And this week's pick comes from Derek over in the warehouse, and Derek picked the 2013 remix of Nirvana's album In Utero. And this remix was done by Steve Albini, the guy who originally produced the album. I picked the 20th anniversary 2013 mix of Nirvana's In Utero in tribute to the late great Steve Albini, who recently passed away on May 7th of this year. My introduction to Steve Albini happened on my 15th birthday, when my brother happened to randomly pick out a CD from the bargain bin for my birthday present. The album he just happened to choose was Big Black's Pig Pile, which was a live recording and basically a greatest hits record of Steve Albini's band, Big Black. This album completely changed the way I thought about music. As I got older, I realized that Steve Albini had influenced and or worked with many of the bands that I enjoyed, including Nirvana, who was the band that really influenced me to start playing music. Steve Albini had genius-level recording techniques and a very unique take on the music business. I had always hoped to one day get to meet him, or even better, work with him on my own music. I will truly miss him. Thank you, Derek. Well, that wraps up the new releases here at Acoustic Sounds this week for May 24th, 2024. If you haven't already, please subscribe to our YouTube channel and our email newsletter, and that way you'll have the best bet at staying the most informed, because there may be some things that don't always get told on the YouTube channel or the email newsletter. And follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Thank you.
Please like and subscribe for more audiophile content.